Let's talk about the motherfucking Epstein Files, bro.
Let's dig in.
All right, it's bad. Things are not looking good for everybody.
Wait, you don't enjoy existing in an empire where everyone that rules over you is evil and committing atrocious acts?
Well, you know how I put this is it's crazy because I was talking about this shit a decade ago. I was talking about Jeffrey Epstein back in 2014. I'm not even exaggerating. I talked to I distinctly remember ranting to my dad. I was like, there's this guy named Jeffrey Epstein, and it's crazy. He like got convicted. Like there's all these reports and rumors of him trafficking children onto a private island that he owns. It's really weird. And all these famous people have reportedly visited this island. Mind you, this is before all the reports have come out. This is just like from what internet sleuths and people were talking about online. And I'm like, and this guy gets tried and he essentially gets a slap on the wrist for it. He gets like almost no jail time at all. And my dad's like, whatever. Okay. What do you want? And I'm like, this is weird, man. He's like, yeah. I particularly remember one time. You you hear this? The elites are trying to silence me, bro.
Not a coincidence.
uh, I distinctly remember talking to him, and I was like I think I was telling him about the Tuskegee experiments, where they were experimenting on people and injecting people with STDs, and black communities, just being evil. And I was like talking to Tomcat about it, and I was telling him this, and he was like, "You think that?" He's like, "You really believe this? You think the government would do that?" I was like, "Huh?" He's like, "You really think the government would do that?" And I was like, "Tom, do you know about MK Ultra, man?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "MK Ultra, where they did like essentially like deep psychic programming, and they literally gave people without their consent or knowledge like LSD and like mind altering substances. They're essentially trying to create like sleeper cell soldiers that can exist." And he's like, "Huh, it's like sci-fi." And I'm like, "It's not sci-fi. This is shit that's come out. Like, I can show you reports. This is all." And then he's like, "Oh," and that was kind of how the sentiment was. And then I lived with during the 2016 election. I lived with a QAnon guy. So I'm hearing about the really far other end of it. I'm hearing my roommate being like, "Come on, man, dude, they're eating babies, dude." And I'm like, "Maybe I don't know about that." And he's like, "But it's just the Democrats." And I'm like, "Well, I think it's the people with money. I think the people with money are doing this, man." And he's like, "Well, not bad. My dad got money. He wouldn't do this." I don't know, man. Maybe he would. Maybe you don't know your dad, but like it was like distinctly like him being like, "Q's telling us all about it. And Trump's gonna save us, man. Trump's saving us, man. He's gonna take us." And I was like, "All right," but I distinctly believed in some of the because I had been following the Podesta emails and everything. Um, Everything with James Olifantis was really insane. All of the pictures and everything. The guy that owned Comet Ping Pong, the place that got that was the heated center of Pizzagate, where it ended up with a crazy guy with a gun there, who for some reason only shot a computer. That's the only thing he shot. Odd. And that guy died this year. That guy died, I think, in a shootout with the cops or something like that, just like a month ago. But besides those interesting little, damn, I might have to grab another mic in a second. But yeah, I've been following along with that shit and all the Podesta shit, everything, all the allegedly things linking the Podestas and Ghislaine Maxwell to the Madeline McCann disappearance, and all this shit that just kind of kept piling up, and then I don't know, they did a really good PR campaign with making everybody that talked about Pizzagate completely crazy and like, oh, they're wild people. And I stopped talking openly about like, being like a believer in that, because people are immediately like, oh, what are you gonna do? Shoot up a fucking place because of it? It's like, no, man, it's just, I don't know. I don't think this shit should be going on in the US of A, um, but yeah, all of the it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, all of the new email links. I mean, allegedly, it seems like there is a significant amount of evidence pointing to the fact that Epstein did not kill himself, that he's absolutely alive. He was like, there's multiple things pointing to him transferring. I think one of them was like a $1.5 billion transfer a month before he died. Huh? Huh? Who are you transferring a $1.5 billion to, dude? That's crazy. How do you get to do that from jail? The fuck? That's crazy. But yeah, all that shit obviously pointing to, it seems like he got a nice little escape route. There's a lot of weird things linking him to some odd country, and I don't want to say who the country is, but it's not America. It's someone that America loves giving all of its money to for some reason, but it's not America. It's the place America wants to dump all of its money, military, and focus resources under the guise of, for some reason, America is a Christian country, which, no, it's not. We founded this country for the freedom of religion. So our our founding father ancestors could go about practicing their weird cult practices that they do. Like, literally, that's what it is. And then people are going back now being like, no, man, Benjamin Franklin was a Christian. No, he was a rapist. They were rapists. They were monsters. They, like, I'm glad we got the country, but it's like people forgot how America was founded. America was essentially like Australia. Britain was saying, I want to expand the size of Britain. I'm going to send a bunch of my degenerates, a bunch of these lunatics that I don't want to deal with here in England. I'm going to send them over to go and start anew. And, fucking half of them died. And then the other ones that survived ended up being crazy to the point that they're like, we're a bunch of fucking criminals. And why are we being ruled by this other fucking country? Fuck them. We're going to start our own country, which, hell yeah. But it wasn't about this thing with religion or Christianity. Jesus Christ has nothing to do with America. Jesus Christ has everything to do with every other country. Like, Jesus Christ has more to do with, like, ancient Syria. Like, Jesus Christ has nothing to do with America. Like, I love my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but 100% he doesn't want this to be a Christian country. Well, the Lord doesn't need another Middle Ages with little crusaders running around doing heinous acts saying this it's for God. Because God didn't preach people decapitating people and all this other crazy shit. Especially since a lot of it's getting revealed that the people in charge that are controlling all these strings are just weird pedophiles.
How do you move forward with all this information that's before our eyes about the things you talked about from 2026 going onward? Just
Boy, I wish I knew.
okay.
I wish I knew. Because, I mean, even I'm talking to my wife. My wife and I have been talking. We go, what do we do? Like, what do we as a nation do? What is there to do? Like, we're we're being manipulated, and then And then the worst part is, for some reason, we're getting articles coming out that are saying things like, let's stop talking about this Epstein stuff. It's very laden with anti Semitism. And then you're going, huh? Stop talking about that shit. You're pointing a light on yourself, man. If you're wanting to creep in the shadows, be a little bit more in the shadows. It's like, sadly, anti-Semitism is going to rise to a scary, unprecedented high, and it's just because we let a man run rampant amok doing complete business with Israeli politicians that and literally people that are still sitting on the board, and we're we're in a scary dumb age. I've been watching a lot of documentaries about corruption through online video games such as Roblox, because I don't play Roblox because I'm not a fucking baby, but I know a lot of people that are also young adults that are like sometimes 19, 20 years old, that they've been playing this game 5, 6 years. They grew up with it. And there's Nazi groups on there. There's jihadist groups. There's literally ISIS recruiting through Roblox. And a lot of these parents don't realize this. There's this insane, scary, satanic group cult called 764 that has a wide influence, and they're using crazy blackmail techniques to get children to harm themselves and put create exploitive material of themselves, kill animals. It's really depressing, depraved shit. It's led to several children taking their lives. But there's these groups that are existing, and they're a lot of these people are sadly young male adults, and probably a lot of them probably females too. There's a lot of young people that are becoming so desensitized with growing up with nothing but like brutalization in politics. They watched a decade of these kids are now 18. They were 8 years old when Trump took in and all this Pizzagate stuff was coming out. So people were talking about this stuff in the mainstream back then. And then not only that, these children were possibly bearing witness to it in these online games. A lot of these children witnessed people being groomed. And it's like this shit is all existing in this scary that no parent wants to take the time out of their day to go look at their kid and watch what they're saying. They believe they're comfortable enough that they have their iPad and they're just playing. And it's like, now, sadly, your child is getting talked to by another child online into doing evil things. And like on top of that, these kids are also sometimes straight up Nazis. These kids are straight up preaching fascist ideology to your child, like coercing them into radical, scary ideology that, like, you know, what the fuck? Like, where 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 are parents right now? It's a weird place where it's like a bunch of children are getting subject to true evil, heinous shit, and there's like a not there's nothing being stopped because of money, because of how much money is getting flooded into these video games and in these communities, and probably in those communities, that material that's being created of children hurting themselves and recording videos that's being sold in evil black market groups and everything. Like, there's so much weird, bad shit that's going on, and it's like happening with people that are probably under the age of 22. And it's like, I don't know what to do other than say, hey, if you are a kid that was exploited or possibly exploiting, stop.
Don't do it anymore. It's not going to end well for you because not only are you going to end up in a physical prison here on this earth, your soul's going to be cursed for the next fucking 7, maybe 10 fucking lives you go through. Next round, dude, you're going through a horror. You're going to be a guy that's going to be like walking down the street, living a decent life up to 15, and then deal with the most excruciating death. And you know why? It's going to be because you did horrible, exploitive things that you thought nothing of because it was just people on like a weird digital sphere. It's like this. I don't know. Sadly, as beautiful as this device is, that I'm sitting here and I'm going, hi, Ty, how are you doing? It's good seeing you. We haven't seen each other in a decade, like in person, but we're sitting here talking about a billionaire pedophile that is existing and manipulating everybody, including I don't know. You probably saw it. There was a good bit of stuff where Jeffrey was very, very in on AI, and he's like very wanting to fund Peter Thiel and a lot of Peter Thiel's like AI forward things, which makes me go, I don't know about this. That I have a theory about that. I think part of it is I think Jeffrey was really trying to push the AI thing because, and also with Peter Thiel, Peter Thiel's been a big proponent of pushing legislation that essentially makes it so we cannot put any legal laws in place restricting AI. I think that got passed in the big beautiful bill that there we can't really put restrictions on AI for I think like a decade or something. And why that's scary is because Peter Thiel could have an agenda. I'm not saying he does. I'm just giving a scenario. He could be wanting to create a platform where he gives people that are pedophiles a thing where they could essentially create pedophilic content, but then in court, when they're sitting there, they can go, no, it's fake. It's artificial intelligence. And they can use that as a fucking a guise of participating in their evil kind of desires. And like it sucks to hear like to say that, but there have already been reports that especially within Grok, which of course who would think that the weird AI that goes amok calling itself Mecha Hitler and being just the worst thing imaginable is also being categorically used to generate child abuse content. And I'm gonna be real, man. I don't think you or I are gonna ever. I can't think of any situation or scenario where I would need that, even if I was creating a scary horror movie. It's something where I'm like, no, man, I wouldn't shoot that. I wouldn't even shoot a movie where a child's getting exploited like that. We probably need to do a movie where I don't know, show maybe the people that are doing this exploitation getting exploited. I think there needs to be more things like that, but there's like, it's like you go, why is this stuff being created, and then why is there not why is there a legal precedent that's put in place to make it so we can't put an FBI agent that looks at the username, goes, all right, let's get his IP, let's go to his house, break in his door, put him down like a dog. I don't know, just a thought. It's just like there's there's uh there's so much weird shit tied into all these files that's, I posted on my story and a lot of people are talking about it, but he's the evil Forrest Gump. He's been at the hand of so many things that, like, there's evidence pointing to him being partially responsible for the '08 market crash and the housing crash and everything. There's evidence, there's a video, or there's an email of him talking about essentially microtransactions to the president of EA, literally ruining video gaming. He ruined video gaming, dude. He sucks. He sucks so much, dude.
he sucks. But like, yeah, I don't really to answer your question. I really don't know what to do other than I feel like this is important. I feel like the more people that are sitting here on public platforms, just like one on one, being like, "Hey, did you read all those emails where that guy was talking about being a pedophile and like not even trying with the code language?" There was one where he said something like, "I brought some ripe young coconuts from Thailand," and I'm like, "Are you out of your fucking gourd?" No, nobody is going to sit there and think, "Oh, he's just talking about. Oh, he's just talking about coke." No, he's talking about fruit. Obviously, we know what they're. It's just like, oh, jeez, dude. It's also crazy that they thought that we'd be this fucking dumb. That we'd be so fucking dumb to be like, well, whatever. What can you do? Like, nah. Something's better. Something's gonna change because I can't see how Congress exists within 5 years operating and acting like this shit isn't. Especially, you've been seeing Billy Clinton is going forward. You say, y'all keep saying, no, come in here to the Republic Committee. No, it's got to be behind closed doors. No, we can't be doing this. He said, nah, fuck it. Public hearing. Let's let the world find out what this is all about. He said that shit. And I went, respect. You know, if you're going to be an evil monster and take action. Take action. Don't be Trump being like, I don't know. It seems like they proved me that I'm a good guy. I've been a good guy the entire time. If you look, I was such a nice guy. I was inviting Jeffrey Epstein out on my birthday. Would a bad guy do that? How many times have you been invited out? Not much, fat little piggy.
Well, the cat can't go back in the bag now. That is one thing that's for sure. They lied to all of us, and there's no denying that lie anymore.
And and it's also like they're they're also doing such a bad job of covering their asses. Like like I don't know what Trump is on. Yeah, I imagine you saw the Obama picture with the monkeys. What was you are what are you are what are you appealing to? The because let's say MAGA is 60% racist. Even those 60% racist folks, you think they're actually going to be like, well, good. That was a good thing. No,
You
you get
joke.
you get the hard white supremacists you get the hard Nazis that are going, that's my president. Yeah, we're Nazis. We're white supremacists. That's the only people that are cheering that on. There's even the people that are the edgy meme lords. They're gonna go, that's our that's our president that just tweeted that out. That is crazy. He is on a horrible downward spiral trend. It's going bad.